Yeah, so Miss Marvel ended. Did a video on that. Miss Marvel ended, and it was revealed that she's a mutant. Don't know how the hell that's going to make any kind of freaking sense, but this is the MCU. It doesn't need to make sense. It just need to put it out there. However, let's get into this article from Bounding into Comics. Miss Marvel co-creator Sana Amanat claims critics of Disney Plus series feel their identities are being threatened. What? I mean, is this like, the show's bad, but okay, let's see. According to Sana Amanat, who basically, well, the Marvel producer, perhaps best known as one of the co-creators of Kamala Khan, and basically Kamala Khan is just a self-insert for Sana Amanat, so, she'll say anything at this point. Criticism of the character's live-action Disney Plus debut stems not from a rejection of the series' quality, but rather a widespread feeling among said critics that their identities are being threatened. I can assure you, my dear, my identity is not being threatened. The show was just not good. That is all. It was just not good, man, and my identities are not being threatened. I don't even know who the hell this is. Thought that was a girl at first, but okay, alright, yeah, two of them. I really don't know what the hell this is supposed to be. I can say I didn't watch it. Though mainstream media outlets have been more than happy to point to the series' near-perfect Rotten Tomatoes score as evidence that the series is the pinnacle of Marvel productions, their claims are disingenuous at best given the fact that the vast majority of the 249 reviews currently posted for the series, though the site curiously only allows users to see 5 total of these positive reviews, only provided feedback on Miss Marvel's first 2 episodes, which were crap. I watched the first 2, utter rubbish, never went back. Even by the media's own standards, a number of noted outlets have asserted that the series' novelty has waned in later episodes, giving way to a disjointed and awkward drama more focused on quickly ticking off representation of Kamala's superficial qualities than providing a coherent superhero story. Gee, who said something kind of similar to that? Alright, it was me. Talk about just want to tick boxes without actually doing any work to build the character. Right? This reception is best seen in the recent reviews to Miss Marvel's 5th episode, Time and Again. It gives me no pleasure to find this episode a mess, but with the resolution of Aisha's story leaving us still wildly unsure of Kamala's altered MCU power set, and the clandestine and the DODC not fully developed as villains throughout the show, episode 5 just wasn't as thrilling for me as it attempted to be, wrote Kristen Howard in her review of the episode for Den of Geek. As it stands, I'm looking forward to Miss Marvel's finale, but I'm not as hyped as I was before I saw this particular episode. Now let me just stop there for a second and say, Marvel keeps trying to put out these quick little 6-episode miniseries, trying to cram a bunch of things into them that makes no sense. They're not giving time to properly build any kind of story. They keep using characters nobody wants to see. Nobody wants to see. This is what Marvel's not honest. They're trying to garner some kind of something from this and move with it, and it's not working. If you want to do maybe 1 or 2 series, so let me say about 13 episodes or something, so of 1 or 2 characters that are popular in the Marvel universe that you may want to introduce into the MCU later on. Pick characters people are interested in, and you can do that, but you're not doing that, and you keep using people and characters that nobody gives a crap about. Trying to shove things into episodes and leave them just barely hanging on, and then you just expect everybody to love it. Don't know. Anyway, likewise, Jonathan Sim for comingsoon.net said the many ideas in this show never quite gel together the way they should. This may be due to how the tragic real-life event of partition is juxtaposed with sequences and superpowers so heavy in CGI that everything feels artificial. Yeah, it's kinda downright ridiculous. This episode illustrates how the whole series needed more breathing time because it has not capitalized on a solid start. Everything is leading to what may be another rushed MCU finale, and all audiences can do is hope Miss Marvel can somehow bounce back. Even for all the praise he offered the episode, Vulture's Siddharth Adak was forced to admit that even once the bombast is dispensed with, the episode's lulls remain palpable and awkward. An episode filled with meaning ends on a meaningless, tensionless shot of an explosion. It almost seems accidental. It's an oddity for a show otherwise so well put together. Yet when faced with similar criticism of the series, writing as cringe or woke, the latter of which adamantly coming less from the mainstream press and more from an ever-growing amount of independent reviewers, Amanat has written them off as nothing more than the rantings of angry fanboys. Well, one, Miss Marvel doesn't have any fanboys. Two, people are angry because these things are rubbish. And three, calling it angry fanboys doesn't make sense because your fans supposed to be your fans. So I think it comes from a place of anger and a sense that their identities are being threatened. One, it is from anger at how bad the show is. Identities being threatened. I don't know where you get that from, but okay. She continued to say, if they can't connect with it, then that's okay. I just wish they wouldn't try to put it down. How about you ask the question, why are they unhappy? How about you look at the show from a literal objective standpoint instead of saying, well, okay, it's Miss Marvel. It's supposed to be diverse. It must be good. And if people don't like it because the show is crap, the powers are nonsense, the actors are void, the entire run seems like, if it never happened, nothing would be missed. No, but you don't want to say that, you just want to go along with it. She then turned the topic of the series' aforementioned representation and claimed that the show had found a particular audience among similarly Muslim teenagers, noting it's amazing to see how they're internalizing that imagery. What? In the second episode, you had a scene where, Kamala and her friend are at the mosque, and there's no reason for it. It's not like, I keep saying, you just did it because you wanted to show, well, okay, we have Muslim people in this show, so you must love it. There's no setup for it at all. Nothing to actually build on. It's just there to just push some nonsense. I just hope it gives them a sense of competency that, frankly, I didn't have growing up. Here we go. And a sense of connectedness inside of their culture and who they are, because I think that's incredibly important. Yeah, because if you don't come out and say that when I was growing up, I didn't have too much connection to my religion and all this thing, so that's why I made the show, and you all have to love it because of that. And if you don't love it, well, then clearly you're a bigot or a racist or something like that. God forbid you make an actual show that's good, with actual good points that they don't try to shove into people's face. No, that's entirely incorrect to do. The producer also commented on the character of Kamala's best friend Nakia as portrayed by actress Yasmin Fletcher, and how the biggest challenge is making sure that we represented the feminism and strong voice that Nakia specifically has. She was running for some position in the mosque, and she, like Kamala and everybody else in this show, seemed extremely unimportant and only there to try and prop up some kind of thing and tick a box. That's really it. Speaking to the story seen in the series' second episode, Crushed, when Nakia runs for a seat on the board of her family's local mosque, Amanat told NBC that it was a lovely way of showcasing the mosque and Nakia's role at the mosque, but also the larger context of it, because so many people have such a specific point of view of what mosque life is. You didn't do any of that. You didn't. You, again, as I said, you have to craft these stories, these ideas, these characters to fit a certain mold. You just threw in that mosque scene and this Nakia running there in order to say, well, okay, here we can do. Woman, tick. Mosque, tick. Woman running for position at mosque, tick. Does it make any kind of sense to the story? No, tick. Are we developing a story around it? No, tick. Are we going to say that, it's very important for that to happen? Of course, tick. Will people outwardly say that doesn't make any sense in comparison to the story? Of course they would, tick. Are we going to fight them down and try to push it, you don't like it because you're some kind of racist? Of course we are, tick, and that's it. It made no sense. I watched the episode, it was the second and last episode that I watched. There was no reason for it. Again, as I said in a different video, when you look at the X-Men, for instance, Nightcrawler, the Nightcrawlers are mutant. Cool looking mutant in my opinion. No. People still hate mutant and they hate Nightcrawler because of the way he looks and all this thing. Nightcrawler became a priest, but it was gradual. They built on it as a character. It wasn't a focus point to say, well, okay, he's a Christian, he's a priest. You have to love that. You have to keep pushing that to the forefront. No, it's a part of him that actually developed over time, step by step, so you could build with it. You did nothing like that for this, but you expect people to be happy with it just because. Sana Amanat further revealed that one of the series' main goals was to address how the 1947 partition of India, which split the then British-held India into the dual states of India and Pakistan, affected women. One of my favorite things when I came onto the show was that this is the anchor point of the series. The idea of the partition of what the partition has done to multiple families, but also what it's done to women, said the producer, and how often women are forgotten in stories of trauma, but also in the big story and big historical event. It's the women who bear the brunt of pain, but whose stories are not told. You think that you use the word women enough there, lady? I don't know. The whole thing about the partition of India. Basically, I watched and I read the story of Mahatma Gandhi. It's better explained there and given more depth on all of this. When it comes to this now, they use the partition as some kind of landing point to say, well, okay, the partition and this happened. You should feel sorry for that and you should watch the show. That's it. It wasn't like anything else crafted correctly, meaningfully into the show. It was just put in there as another launching point for another bunch of nonsense that doesn't even work. The intention was to say, well, what happens to these women after that? She concluded the emotional disconnect, constantly searching for a place called home. So I thought that was a really interesting way of telling Kamala's identity. Look, again, this show was meant to just tick boxes. That's what it was. Meant to just tick boxes. And when you come out making statements like, people who are critical of how awful the show is feel their identities are being threatened. Nobody's identity is being threatened. You cannot use certain things and say that, okay, we have a character who is female, who's a Muslim, and that's it. So you have to love her. In the comics, her powers are nonsense. All these giant fists and this kind of stretchy powers doesn't make any sense. You've rebooted the comic more than probably about a dozen times by now. Nobody still cares. You've done this series, you rush through it, making no sense along the way, part of the way, nothing. And you come on to tell people, but listen now, the reason that you don't like it is because your identities are being threatened, not because the show is awful. If you're not going to do a character properly, don't do it. Nobody likes Miss Marvel. Nobody's interested in Miss Marvel. Nobody likes this show. You all know that. And you still want to act like people are somehow evil for not liking it, and their identities are being threatened. Like, it's rubbish. The show is not good. It's not good. It's not going to get any better. You've decided to, at the end, make her some kind of mutant or some kind of variant, something like that. You threw in Brie Larson, which nobody cared about. It's just not a good show. It was 6 episodes. Well, I can't speak for the other 4 episodes. The 2 that I actually watched were horrible. Never wanted to go back, didn't go back. It's not good. Not good at all. So, Sana Amanat could say whatever she wants. We know that, Miss Marvel is basically a self-insert of her, and not done good at all. So, get upset all you want, ladies. Talk about people identities are being threatened. No, your identity is being threatened because you cannot accept the fact that you're not making anything good. That's what the whole MCU is about. Nothing good. Let me know in the comments what you think. You have a different opinion. I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be officially notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.